I chose Caribbean medical school over US medical school, and it's not for the reasons that you think. A lot of the reasons that people choose Caribbeans because they had a low MCAT, they had a low GPA, they did multiple cycles and they couldn't get in. So they seen Caribbean as a way out. And it was my first choice. And I'm not telling any of you all to choose Caribbean. Always do US medical school. That should be your first choice. But in my case, it was a little bit different. For me, first, my specialty that I want to match in is internal medicine, which has a high match rate. For IMGs, it is lower, and I understand that. However, with IMGs in internal medicine, there's always a need for internal medicine for primary care. It's not like I'm trying to do plastic surgery. My goal is to be a cardiology, but I would have to match into internal medicine, right? And I know that you can do that with US medical school, and it is best to wait a year. However, in my case, I rather start. Also, I am in this job that I'm currently do not like, and I'm ready to leave. I know I'll be strong enough to pass Caribbean medical school. I know that they're gonna kick you on the instant depending on the school, and I'm ready for that. And I know I'm academically ready because of my good GPA that I can handle the rigor of the courses, right? And the MCAT is a good test, the critical thinking, and with my MCAT score, I know I'll be ready for medical school in general, whether it's Caribbean, whether it's whatever, it's the same curriculum. And what I'm currently hearing from my peers that are actually in Caribbean medical school, and with a simple Google search, people that drop out or get kicked out is because they're partying, having fun, they're living life, or maybe they just can't keep up with the rigors of medical school. And I honestly believe if you're meant to become a doctor, you're meant to strive, you're going to do it. Fix your study strategies right now before you start. You learn Anki. You do all of that. I highly believe that anyone is capable of passing medical school. There's plenty of doctors, my doctors, that are Caribbean. They come from Caribbean schools, and I never knew. You know why I never knew that? Because I never asked, because I was never interested in the first place in medical school when I was way younger. But now I'm so aware of, oh, this doctor went to this school, but they're still amazing doctors. Actually, a lot of doctors are Caribbean, right? You just don't know because you just see the MD and you're like, oh wow, this is a good doctor. You really never see. You can guess they're from Caribbean, but that's not the first thing. The first thing a patient goes like, is this doctor good? Does he know what he's talking about? Is he attentive or is she attentive? Is she a good doctor? Is she? That's really what they care about, right? Yes, you will have certain patients that are like, are you MD? Are you DO? Yes, and that's common, I guess. Even in my job, I work in like a call center, so when I speak to patients, they're like, "Oh, I just want MD," you know, I just want MD. They don't want DO, and that's another conversation. And at the end of the day, MD, DO are doctors. However, I wanted to go straight in. I understand the risk. So if you're choosing Caribbean, compare the pros and cons. The con of Caribbean medical school is expensive, you can get kicked out. The pro is you can be a doctor, right? So yes, do what everyone do, apply to US medical school, say for the MCAT, take a gap year, take 2 gap years, and if you can't get the score that you need, then you can try Caribbean, right? Caribbean should be last resort. I always say last resort, right? I'm not going to tell you, oh, Caribbean, go Caribbean first. I'm different, right? I chose it. I'm not telling you all to choose. You all do what you all need to do, not what I'm doing. I have to clarify it, right? Just because like people look at, oh, but he was Caribbean, he did it, right? There's outliers. There's so many factors you have to look at, right? And a lot of people that do go to Caribbean, they do go primary. Yes, there's people that do anesthesiologist, emergency. Emergency is not bad. PMR, that's not bad. But like vascular surgery, you might have one person, right? But you have to look at the statistics, right? Like, do I have a higher chance of becoming a doctor by going US, or do I have a higher going Caribbean? And obviously the answer is US. And what specialty? Especially if you want a competitive specialty, I would not even go Caribbean. If you know for 100% sure that you want a competitive, go to US. If you're very indecisive, you might change, go US. There's no rush. There's no rush, right? You're like, oh wait, but Chosen, you're rushing in. You're rushing in because I know what I want. I know I want to be a cardiologist. I did research. I know how I am. I know once I go there, once I say I'm not going to change, right? I'm someone that knows I don't like kids. So I'm not doing anything that's pediatric. That's why I avoid pediatrics, family medicine. I want to deal with adults, right? So internal medicine, and I want to go to primary care in the first place, right? To start primary care and cardiology. I think cardiology is so amazing. I'm so excited for medical school when I start. And I know it's going to be a hard journey. I know it's going to be a long journey, but I'm going to get through it. I'm going to get through it. And that's what you have to tell yourself. Whatever path that you take, you're going to get through it. If you go, oh, what if I fail? What if I this? You may fail, right? So you should never go with a mindset that you will fail. Go to the mindset that you will pass. You do everything in your power to pass because you will. And if it's meant to be, you'll pass. If it's in God's plan, you'll pass. You will pass. Tell yourself that 100 times until you actually pass. You fell, oh well. Get up, try again. You pass, good job. The job is not done yet. Go back for more. You passed, you need to pass 5 more exams. Pass exam, vacation, celebrate, go back, keep going. This is all a mind game. Think about why a lot of people are not doctors or don't want to become doctors. Let's remove cost from the equation because cost does have a lot, but people just don't want to go to school that long. They don't want to study, they don't want to make their head hurt. They're like, oh, I'm gonna get older, I'm gonna get old, right? At the end of the day, whether you do Caribbean or US, you're gonna become a doctor if you make it through. And once you make it through, you're gonna look back and you're gonna be like, I'm glad I did. I'm glad. I'm extremely happy, right? And I'm going to prove everyone wrong that me choosing Caribbean will be the best choice in my life. My life. I will make it, and it is July the 4th. That's why you hear all these fireworks. You will make it. You will. Trust yourself. Maybe a little prayer. Keep going. Keep grinding. You got this. Never give up. If someone's about to give up, give them this video and allow them to skip to the ending part, right? And the last thing I just want to say is Caribbean medical school is medical school, has the same curriculum as US medical school, especially if you go to the big three. Yes, there are some Caribbean, not. I stick to the big three, big four, right? Those you would definitely get in if you put the work. So I wish you all good luck. This is my decision. I know a lot of you won't agree. I already had backlash in my Instagram. So I wish you all the best. Thank you for watching the video.